Hey guys, it's Leanne.
It's Lena. So for this week, we wanted to talk about the different characteristics of cults and what exactly makes a group a cult. Because after sharing our testimony, we definitely wanted to share some key factors and key identification points that are helpful to be able to discern and understand if you sense something is a cult or you sense you might be in one. So we definitely want to give some exposure and some revelation on different characteristics so that you can protect yourself and just be vigilant in any community or
Group that you're in. And even if you're not, it's just good to know so that you can navigate those things well.
So when I looked up the definition cult, it stems from the Latin word for cultus, and it means to till or cultivate, training or education or adoration. Those definitions pretty much combined form the meaning of a cult, and three of the main characteristics of cults are a charismatic leader, indoctrination, and exploitation, and we'll break that down.
Usually how these begin to form is there being a charismatic leader, someone who's very charming, who's really good with words and able to speak well. And that's definitely what we experienced with the person that we followed in one documentary that we watched, which is called Cults Explained, which we will link below if you're interested in watching. How these groups are really able to gain traction is cults usually form around times of a lot of social unrest. So obviously for us back in 2020, there's a lot of social unrest around the Black Lives Matter movement. And so we were sucked into that one.
The second characteristic of a cult involves indoctrination. So obviously when you join a group of people or follow behind a leader, they're not going to explicitly tell you like, hey, this is a cult, come join the cult. But indoctrination often takes place through deception and manipulation, where they'll give a lot of promises that sound really good and sound really positive that you want to join in on and become a part of. So there's definitely a lot of mind control that takes place to reel people in to be part of that group. And then the third characteristic involves exploitation, either financially or sexually. So those are like the really extreme consequences and harm that can happen when you're part of a cult.
And for us, we experienced it on the financial end, where there was no like transparency in the actual funds that were held by the leader during the time that we were following him. So because there was no transparency behind that and the idea that there weren't enough funds, people with hearts like us, we were always wanting to keep the momentum of a movement going, especially for a cause that we believed in. And so we would constantly be putting our own money down to ensure that the group is continuously being sustained.
So those are the three building blocks of a cult: charismatic leader, indoctrination or mind control, and exploitation.
Some other signs that may indicate that you may be in a cult is if on the leadership level there's no accountability. So for us, that we definitely experienced that, where anytime we would confront leadership or bring up any issues, there would be no accountability, and really the blame would be put back on us, or there would just be a lot of gaslighting. So zero accountability. Look out for that.
And then some other characteristics include the belief that you're wrong if you try to leave the group. So when we finally were done with all the nonsense that was taking place and we were putting our foot down and we confronted the leader that we were following that we're going to break away, he definitely made us feel really terrible for leaving. Like we have no reason to leave. Like we didn't care for the cause and we were just being selfish for leaving. When you're part of a cult, they'll make you feel like you're just this terrible person for wanting to leave and that you have no real reason to leave in the first place.
They'll make you feel like you're not good enough and you're not really committed to what you say you believe in. So it's just a lot of guilt-tripping tactics that will convince you that if you don't stay, then you're not really like sold out for whatever cause that you're trying to follow or whatever cause that you say that you believe in.
So basically, a cult is no different from an abusive relationship. Like, it just happens to be like a bigger group that's being abused by a leader.
So yeah, and I can definitely relate to both ends, both the group setting and the individual setting. We just wanted to just highlight these few points. I don't think they're all encompassing, but they definitely are points to just take notice of if you're a part of any group, just to be aware of and be alert of, and just to continue to guard your heart above all else, because we definitely didn't have our heart guarded, and we're definitely manipulated into doing a lot of things for the purposes of a cause that we were following.
So we hope that this helps anyone who watches our video.
And we'll definitely keep using this platform to be a resource for everybody.